welcome to live. Hope everybody's having a good time. We'll adjust our cameras over here, trying to get this going, making all the live streams look good. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm your tea guy, Jesse. If you're new to the channel, lived in China 9 years, doing lots of tea stuff. You've probably seen some of my videos around if you're interested at least in watching this live stream. I'm guessing that you are a tea person as well. And I'm just trying to get, I have two cameras here running. I have TikTok over here and I have YouTube over here for the first time doing a live stream on YouTube. So welcome everybody, hope everything is going great. I'm going to be drinking a bunch of tea. I actually have a lot of tea samples today. Look at these things a little closer here. Trying out a new streaming setup over here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Beck June, thanks so much for the hearts. Hope everybody's doing well. Welcome over here on TikTok as well. Greetings everybody. It's a good day for tea time. It's Saturday over here. I'm glad that everybody is having a good Saturday. Let me know where you guys are coming in from. Elias says hello from California. I'm in California too, man. Thanks so much. Hey Jesse, nice tea tray. Thanks so much. These are the new circular metal insert tea trays that are actually up on my site now. I got them onto the site in June. And then I bought only a small amount of all of the new tea trays because I didn't know whether they would actually sell, and they're expensive and heavy to ship over to the States. But people have liked them, and so it's very good. I finally got a hold of mine now. Like, we actually sold out of them because in the beginning I just did not have enough. So here's hello from Canada. Welcome to our Canadian friends. Question from DJ Nico: which tea is good for testosterone? I have no idea. I've never thought about tea in that sense before. There could be some literature on that. I would look that up on the internet because tea is, as far as I've never heard of any sort of connection between tea and testosterone, but who knows? If anybody has any tea questions, by the way, let me know. I'm always happy to answer all the tea stuff from nature and distress. Love all your tea videos. Thanks so much. Buck Joan, wasn't expecting many Californians, also Cali resident. Hey, maybe there's something about the YouTube thing that's sharing us to the locals. I'm in LA, so great to be able to have everybody here. We'll do one more question over on TikTok. We got lots of people on TikTok. Welcome, welcome. Noftel Nafius, have you ever tried Malaysian tea? I have not. What's it like? Tell me what it's like, because I would. I'd love to try some. I think there's lots of there's lots of tea cultures that I have not gotten a chance to experience as much. I lived 9 years in China, so my tea knowledge is very China-based. That's good and bad. I think the Chinese tea culture has a lot of depth to it, but obviously there are many countries in the world and many great things to be done with tea. So I am going to be drinking some samples today. I have a big ass bag of samples in here that have come from my good tea friends. And we have a lot of good things that we could be doing today. Let me look and see what we got. I am, so for those of you who are just following the channel for the first time, I'm Jesse, I'm your tea guy. I lived in China for 9 years, and I have all these tea friends and tea farmers that I've known for a long time, and basically I just get samples of their tea, I try them, I pick the ones that I like for my subscription club and for my different tea boxes, and then those are available to you guys up on the site. Questions over here. What's up, my man? Do you know about tea from around the world, Iran, India, and African countries? Not as much. Again, part of the challenge with the tea is that in order to really get tea, this is kind of like an insider tea game thing, but like in order to really get good tea at a reasonable price that then you can then pass on that saving to others, you basically need to know the farmers or the people as close to the tea farm as possible. And so just because I haven't lived in any of those places and I don't have those connections, I speak Chinese fluently, I don't speak Persian, I don't speak Swahili or any of the other tea languages. There's definitely a little bit of a challenge there. But I have luckily these great bags of samples that are coming in from my tea guys in China. And I'm trying to think of what I want to try first. These look pretty cool. These are little tea coins. Okay, hold on. Wait, hello, are we all still there? Great, awesome. These are tea coins that we could look at. Everybody take, this is gonna be option one. I'm gonna have you guys vote on which one I try. This is gonna be option one. It's a Bingdao Raw Pu'er tea coin. That's gonna be option one. Option two, I got so many samples. got? Option 2 is the raw puer tea cube. This is the tea cube that we can look at. That's option 2, and we'll pick an option 3, which is the, this is a really different tea ball, tea disc. Oh, I want to try, and then this will be the third one. This is a cooked puer, sticky rice flavor cooked puer coin. So these are the ones that we're looking at here, 1, 2, and 3. Let me know if any of those pique your interest. Otherwise, I'll just put a vote into the chat, either 1, 2, or 3. 1 for the raw puer tea coin. 2 for the raw puer tea cube, and then 3 for the cooked puer sticky rice flavor tea coin. Let's see what we got here. 2, 3. Got a couple over here. Sticky rice, raw puer cuboid sounds interesting. 3, 3, 3, 2. Hi Jesse, when will you have your own tea house that people can come and visit and drink tea with you? That's Faye asking. I would love to have one of those. It's like literally a dream. We're working towards it. If we get enough people watching the videos and buying stuff from the shop, like it's a possibility someday. I've actually started even looking potentially into places to rent, but as you guys know, rent is ridiculous. 3, 3, 3, 3, 2, 1. I think 3 is getting a lot of yeses. And sticky rice puer is something I've wanted to have on the shop for a while, and so I am excited to get this. I'm excited to get this sample. It's a little bit different than the stuff that we have on the site right now, so hopefully this is going to be a good one. Very blessed with samples right now. Okay, so this is a nuo mi xiang. So the Chinese word for sticky rice is nuo mi. Mi is rice. Nuo is I guess you would say like this sort of it's not sticky like the adjective, but like the word for the glutinous rice sort of thing. And then it comes in this nice little gold coin. I like that gold coin. Questions, you finish up all the samples you get? I feel like it's a lot. Justin Barrett asked that on TikTok. Actually, it's kind of almost a problem. I always tell the tea people, like, don't give me too much because I have so many samples and I also have so many teas. And yet they always just give me tons and tons of samples and I do not finish them all. I was actually thinking of maybe doing some like giveaway where I give people like remaining samples. Some of them are quite good. I just don't necessarily drink them all. So here we go. Oh, wow. The sticky rice flavor is very strong. I'm curious to see the quality that we get out of these because these are this pressed disc of puer tea. See that pressed disc? Very, very cool. This is the flavor is very strong. In fact, I need to remember to take notes because I need to make sure that I remember what I thought about these different teas, because the ones that are the winners actually do go into like future subscription boxes and everything. So I'm gonna put that over here, get my tea notes, tea samples. I figured that would be a fun thing to just like drink the samples. I was gonna drink the samples. I could drink the samples by myself. I'm like, no, let's get the stream on. This is a Yinqing nuo mi xiang puer coin, gold foil, intense smell out of the foil. Great, that's where we're at now. I'm gonna reboil my water up to 100 C. By the way, if anybody has any questions that I missed, just re-put them in the chat. I'm drinking tea and talking to Chad, so very, very cool. Benny, I guess your comedy has helped me out a lot with learning Mandarin. Thank you so much. If you guys don't know, I also run a comedy channel where I do Chinese language comedy, stand-up comedy, sketch comedy, funny music videos. The TikTok is Jesse Chinese Comedy, and the YouTube is just my name, Jesse Appel, Chinese name, ITC. Lots of good comedy stuff on there. Very, very nice. Isabel Hernandez says, say hi to Ethan, please. Ethan, how you doing, man? Hope you're having a good Saturday. Over here, questions. Were you the tea editor for the Blowfish? Whoa, we got a Blowfish reference from Pookie Sheriff. I was everything editor for the Blowfish. That was the satirical newspaper at Brandeis University. Maybe some of the best comedy work I've ever done, which is a little bit terrifying, but that's where we're at. So here, I'm going to show you one last time what this looks like before. This is what the T coin looks like before, and we are about to see how this thing unfurls, because if my experience tells me anything, this thing is going to come apart. The question is, when it does come apart, what it looks like. So, so that sticky rice smell is very strong. The sticky rice smell is up there. Now the challenge with some of this pu'er is if you have a bad quality cooked pu'er, sometimes you get like a fishy smell out of it. I'm not getting any of that now, which is encouraging. I'm going to use this as the first wash. Very nice. Yeah, that smell is pretty intense. I love it. Cheers, everybody. Hello, what tea are we having today from Blue on TikTok is asking. I'm trying a new sample of a sticky, cooked for sticky rice. It's also aged. This is a 5-year age from Monghai. Monghai is one of the best tea places in the whole world. I was just down there in June. Take a look at the first steep, very cool. Kilo Chen says, just found your channel yesterday. My husband and I just talking about the difference between the herbal tea and Chinese tea. Is also curious on thought of the lazy going for tea sets. We have some lazy going for tea sets on the site. I like them. I mean, I don't think, I think the core of the Chinese tea experience is enjoying tea time and hosting others and being a good host and using the tea as a way to bring people together and to mindfully kind of experience the entire process. And to that extent, I don't think personally it matters that much if you use like a lidded cup or a pot or a different type of lazy gongfu set, as long as you're doing so with the right intentions. So you can see here after the first steep, it's kind of doubled in size. Very, very cool. Very good. Hey Jesse, cheers Jesse, this is from Zinmead. I'm watching the live stream while drinking some laobanjiang. That is good tea. Love me some laobanjiang. We actually have some maybe secret laobanjiang tea cakes that are going to be coming out later. I'll let you guys know about that. So second steep, already very intense, dark. This is the tea brick has kind of completely disintegrated. Again, we're doing samples here, so my first reactions. First reaction here is the tea color. It looks a little muddy, but actually it's not that bad. The tea color looks pretty good here. Little bit muddy, but nothing that's going to make me see like, oh, this is going to be junk. Ibray says, cheers, my dude, love it. Night Stories, just bringing your videos and saw your live. Thanks for showing up. Do you have any videos introducing basic concepts of Chinese tea and tea making? I didn't see a playlist. I should make a playlist. Such a good idea, because I definitely have those videos spread throughout the channel. But basically, for those of you who are new, I'll give you a little bit of a thing right now. So this is a going for tea set. This table has a grate in the middle so that you can pour and the water will come through the grate. At the end of the section, I'll just dump the tray. You have a lidded cup, which is where you make the tea. You have a filter that you place on top of your pitcher. If this had tea in it, we would pour it through there. And then the pitcher allows you to separate the tea leaves from the actual tea. The tea leaves from the liquid. And that's super important because now these tea leaves are still fresh. They can go another steep, another steep, another steep, another steep. You can keep re-steeping them. Whereas if you have the water just like in there the whole time, if you think of your classic Western tea kettle, and it's just huge, it's just sitting in there steeping, getting over bitter, over extracted, and you're losing the tea energy. You're like, it's not going to be able to keep going like that. So. Cheers to you guys. Here's we're just trying samples today, and here's a sample of the nuomi xiang, the sticky rice flavored cooked pu'er. I like it. The sticky rice flavor is very very apparent. So sometimes the sticky rice is more lighter, sometimes it's like less. The tea itself was so dark, I thought it would be a little bit overwhelming, but it's not. It's the sticky rice flavor is very strong. I'm taking my notes, by the way. Strong sticky rice flavor, disc disintegrates quickly, a little bit cloudy tea liquor. Cool. Cheers, everybody. By the way, thanks so much for watching, especially on YouTube. I know that we have like a bunch of new people who have just joined, so welcome to the tea community. Again, thank you to everybody who's been following on TikTok for a long time. Trying to do 2 phones at once, hope that everything is good. But yeah, so enjoying this tea so far. Let me show you the tea we got here. Very nice lighter color. I bet it's going to get even darker if I know this sort of tea. Corvicus asks, question, one of my favorite teas has always been loose leaf Vietnamese jasmine tea. I've just been brewing it in a pot. Do you think it benefits from brewing in the Chinese way that you show? It really can depend. I mean, for jasmine tea is usually made with green tea that is fragranced with jasmine. So it's basically green tea. I think for green tea, I would say the most important thing is just not getting it steeped too hot. If you're steeping that tea at like 70 to 80 Celsius, so that would be like whatever, 160 something to 180 something Fahrenheit. I don't know the Fahrenheit as well, but I think that's the key thing I would do with it. The main thing is that, the main thing with the Chinese way, which is better, is again, as I said, once you make the tea, like for instance, I'm gonna make a little bit more tea. I'm gonna have this water in the lidded cup. It's gonna steep there as long as I want. Judging by the type of tea this is and the color that I'm already getting out of it, 5 seconds for this tea, 10 seconds is gonna be enough. We're gonna pour that out. And then the big difference with the Chinese method is now that the water is out, these leaves are not over steeping. They're not just like getting like really overdone. We're saving the tea energy for the next steep, and we have separated the water, the tea liquor from the actual from the leaves. That's going to allow you to make the tea again and again and again, and also have hot tea again and again and again. Because again, if you make a big pot, sometimes by the time you get to the end of it, the tea in there is cold, it's over extracted and cold. This allows you to have a little bit more control over it, and it's better if you're having like a sit-down tea time, I think. Very, very cool. Mike Bravo said, hey, I just wanted to stop by and say you're doing great, and I'm very proud of you. Thank you, Mike. Dude, cheers. You got a tea pour for that. We're gonna give Clyde a little bit of tea for that. Thank you so much. It's been a journey. If you guys, those of you who don't know, I lived in China for 9 years, and I wasn't planning on moving back to the States. I came back to the States for what I thought would be a 9-day vacation, and I happened to take that 9-day vacation in January of 2020. And when I left, COVID was a rumor in China. Don't spread rumors. When I landed, it's real, and the borders are closed. And so basically, I lived 9 years in China, and I got 1 travel suitcase out of it. Eventually, I was able to go back this last May, but it took almost 3.5 years for me to go back and be able to get my stuff out. And even now, I was only able to get my smaller but more important items like this fan in the back, which was a memento that was given to me at the apprenticeship ceremony when I apprenticed to my comedy master. I spent 7 years apprenticing with a master comedian named Ding Guangquan in China, and that was my main job in China, was being a comedian. So it's been a crazy COVID period because after COVID, borders are closed. Also, the world seems to be like determined to fight. And so there's a lot of people who just like are not interested in laughing about anything that has to do with China, which is a real shame because that's exactly the way we find our way out of this fucking mess. Is like actually treating each other like real people and figuring out what makes each other laugh and enjoying each other's company. That seems like a way out, as opposed to whatever the fuck we've been doing. So no, I put on a live stream. This is not for kids. I'm sorry if I'm swearing over here. Questions over here. Got a lot of good questions. By the way, if I miss any questions, feel free to let me know. I'm hoping I'm not missing anything. Ibn al Trust Me Bro, I like it. How easy is it to live as a foreigner in China? It depends. There's some stuff that's like really nice. So I don't know, part of this is foreigner, part of this is American, but the cost of living there is much lower. So you can like go out to eat, you can like travel. They have a very good rail system, so you can take like high-speed rail everywhere. Like in ways like that, it's more convenient in many ways than living in the States. Challenges though is that it's a very kind of ethnocentric country. Like there are ethnic minorities in China, but they have virtually no power. So basically, whatever the Han Chinese want to happen will happen, and so there's not a lot of like. There's not a lot of, like you can't become Chinese. So no matter how good I get at Chinese or how much I share tea culture, regular Chinese people are never gonna look at me and assume I'm part of their group. They may be interested in what I do, they may be very supportive of learning Chinese, but you can't really integrate into the country in the way that you can in the States. And this is not to say that it's easy to integrate into the States as a sort of white American, but Americans have the cultural concept of immigrants, whereas in China they don't. But day to day, I had a lot of fun there. People are very curious about outside cultures, I'd say even more so than we are in the United States, which was a lot of fun because people would just be interested in talking and learning about what's it like where you're from, what's it like where we're from, and sharing that culture. And it's getting harder to do nowadays because China's closed off more than it was before. But I still recommend if you get a chance to travel there or to take a study abroad semester or to work a year as an English teacher, I think it's a great place to be. And generally people are very nice to foreigners there. So I give it a thumbs up. So questions over here. We have lots of questions. I'm sorry. What are the questions from Mateusz Kroskowski? What are those white strings in some types of teas? I don't know. My teas don't have any white strings in them. Are you thinking of the string on the tea bag? I don't know what you're talking about. Questions. Did you enjoy the mooncakes that your friend gave you? Which one did you like more from Faye? I had some great mooncakes. There's still some of them are over there. I went through 2 of them, but they gave me 8, which is a lot. They were very good. They were rose and red bean flavored. But now the challenge is I have like too many mooncakes, and it's hard to get rid of them because they're so heavy. 404. This guy reminds me of my old neighbor. He was always keen to help out a kid when he was when it was penis inspection day at school. Oh, thanks so much, man. I appreciate it. Thank you for not fun. This is what I do. Ice Energy, are you sponsored by the Chinese government? No, I'm not. It's a very complicated thing to be able to hold on to creative freedom while working in a country like that. You never succeed entirely, but there have been definitely times I've turned down a lot of work that was in my mind not allowing me to openly express myself. And I also have done shows on state media when I was able to express myself, because basically the only way I found to work in that country, in that system, and maintain the sort of artistic and performance freedom is you just have to be very, very brinksmanshipy on the content. So the way I did it was I wrote all my own jokes. If I write my own jokes and I can get them onto TV, well, there are probably some jokes that I couldn't get on TV. If I wrote all my own jokes, then that was my bar. I'm not going to be doing jokes that other people tell me to do. I'm not going to be doing other content people tell me to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. Then they can decide, and they have the right to do this with their own country. I disagree with some of the choices they make specifically, but like they definitely have the right to say, we don't want that on TV. So if they don't want it on TV, I'm not on TV. If they don't want it on the internet, they block it. I keep making what I want to make. They block whatever they don't want out there. It's not the ideal scenario. And again, it wasn't like this 10 years ago. It has gotten worse. Like when I moved there and started doing Chinese comedy, their system was much more open, and it was easier to do this. But this is very important to me, and this is a distinction I really think the internet is very bad at finding, is that there are people, there's culture, and there are governance. I work with Chinese people and Chinese culture to be able to share tea and to be able to create a world in which we're going to be living better together. That's why I do it. In order to do those things as a non-Chinese citizen, I need to interact with the government. That does not mean that my job is working for the government. It means that in order to do people and culture, I need to work with the government. In the same way, if you were a non-American citizen and you wanted to work in America and do shows and do American culture, you would need a visa, you would need to be able to work through the systems, you need to follow the local laws. So there's always a lot of touch in that. And it's frustrating because I never asked to become an expert in the way the Chinese state media works, but I find that basically no Americans and very few Chinese people know how it actually works, and everybody seems extremely sure they can detect what the hell's going on. So I'm always happy to talk about that, by the way. People sometimes think that I'm not, but no, I'm doing it. Great questions over here. Do you make money on your content, my guy? I'm just curious, from Jace to Anta. So on the content, not really. I have a shop, so if you guys want great tea stuff, you can go to teahouse.com, and I have all the stuff, all the tea stuff you see here is on sale. All of the, in fact, I should probably tilt the screen down a bit more so you can see the tea table a little bit better. I have the table covered up by all the comments. But all of this stuff is on the website. All of this stuff is part of how I make my living. We have lots of great customers that have been coming back to us now for, I launched this like 2 years ago, so that's really cool. The content itself doesn't make that much money, and that's part of the reason why I started the tea company, is because back in China, I did comedy, and I have about 2 million fans in China. And it's really hard to make money off of making content, because at the end of the day, you have to do an ad or you have to sell something on the internet. And I was like, I don't really want to be doing ads. And if I'm going to sell something on the internet, I don't want to sell somebody else's Junko, whatever. They need a foreign face to sell something. I'd like to sell something I actually care about. And so when I started the tea account, it was under the idea that, like, if we make any money off the content, great. That's not why I'm here. I'm making the content because I love to perform and I love to share and I love sharing the tea culture. And then hopefully a percentage of the people who are watching and really want good tea will look on the site and they'll realize that the tea is really good, the prices are really good, and we all have all our stuff in the States. So if you want something, we're shipping it. It's going to be in the mail in 2 days. It's not being shipped from Asia one at a time. I'm not drop shipping anything. I have my own brand. I have my own quality assurance. We have our own customer service. Like, the team is small, it's only me and 3 other people, but like we're making it work as like a real thing. And so that's kind of how I can make a lot of content and do a lot of lives and spend so much time doing this, is that we hope people will go to the website, jesseteahouse.com. I'm Jesse, and get some of the great teas that we have on the site. So great. Very, very cool. The tea is amazing, from Scandrin on TikTok. Thanks so much, I appreciate it. Yeah, especially if you guys have any questions about the tea, ask the people in the comments. A lot of them may have tried the tea. Very cool. Lots of questions over here. I'm missing some of them, I'm sorry. We have a question here from Kaylee Patterson. I ordered some of the 2017 pu'er, and I'm so excited to share with a friend of mine. Very good. Always been intrigued by tea cakes. I'm finally glad to enter that one with tea. Thanks so much. The tea cakes are, it's great. I mean, they look a little bit weird, but once you get used to them, you're like, this is a really nice way to have tea. And it can remain on display when you're not drinking it. It's like really great. Questions over here. It's Essential Taco. I just discovered your channel. I found your videos very relaxing, calming. Thank you. It inspires me to want to find the serenity through a ceremonial and healthy habit, like how you approach a tea. That is definitely what I get out of it. I think the The big cultural challenge a lot of Americans have, and I guess this is probably the same in Europe too, is that a lot of people treat caffeine like a drug. Like, I got to have my coffee or else I can't function. And it's just not a healthy way to, like, you know, I like the caffeine and the lifting effect from caffeine that I get from the tea. But the good thing about the caffeine in tea is that it raises your awareness, but it also increases your focus. And it's also, unlike the tea, the caffeine from tea is absorbed in your body differently from the caffeine from coffee. From coffee, you get this kind of spike and then a crash. From tea, it goes up slower, but then it stays there longer, and then it goes back down. If you drink a lot, you go up and you become what they call tea drunk, which is a thing. I think that the idea of using tea as a way to sit down, to focus on doing something well, to focus on treating yourself well, to focus on treating your guests well, to focus on having a higher quality product, finding the best leaves you can, making them simply and elegantly, and then enjoying them as a way to focus on life. I think that is something I did not expect when I discovered tea. And it is very different from the way that people in the West generally enjoy tea. And it's been one of the favorite things that I've liked about the Chinese tea tradition, is that it just completely inverts. It takes this thing that is a beverage, and I like drinking it, it's tasty. But it's one of these things that is like, it just refocuses the way you're thinking on the thing in a way that I think is very helpful. So, very, very cool. From TikTok, we have some Scandanon says, I'm almost out of my white tea chocolate bar and writing recommendations for another white tea. Yes, for white tea recommendations, I have a couple good ones on the site. One, I recommend that you check out if you haven't tried the gourmet white tea balls, those are classic. They come in the sampler box, they're classic. The 2011 Fuding white tea is the oldest white tea I have on the site. That's 12 years age now. It's really hard to find 12-year age white tea. It's very good. It's a little pricier, so just keep that in mind, but it's very, very good. And then next month, on November 1st, we're going to be launching a new subscription box. Every 3 months, my subscription sends out 3 new teas to people, and one of the new teas, I won't tell you too much, but one of the new teas in the next box is a white tea. So if you are a subscriber and you can hang on until November, then you'll be getting a bag of white tea, which is really good white tea. So that'll be fun as well. So, but yeah, if you really like the white tea and you're willing to spend a little bit more money, the 2011 Fuding white tea on my site is really, really good. And I'm restocking that because we're almost out, and I don't want that to go out of stock. Great questions over here. We have a lot of questions on the TikTok. I'm really sorry. Hey Jesse, any chance to see some Dongfang Meiren for sale on your website before you focus on, or you'll focus on only mainland teas? I have Dongfang Meiren on the website. I call it Eastern Beauty, and it's on the website under the oolong section. So if you go to my website, jessieteahouse.com, in the top left corner, there's like 3 bars, like a hamburger. If you click on that, there's a drop-down menu for teas, oolong teas, and you can search it. Or just Google search Jesse's Teahouse Dongfang Meiren, or Eastern Beauty is how I call it in English. It's on there. More questions over here. Jared Irvine, have you thought about expanding to stuff like tea cakes or other types of tea snacks? So we have tea cakes, the actual big discs of tea. But I think you mean like eating. It's been on my mind to do a snack box for a while. I've wanted to do a snack box. Part of the challenge has been by learning new import laws. If you're going to import food, there's different things, especially if you, it depends on whether it's prepackaged or blah, blah, blah. It's confusing. But a snack box is something I've been thinking of doing. Traditionally, in the sort of the more into tea you get, I find the fewer people eat or eat with their tea, because it can throw off the flavors of the tea. But not everybody is doing super high-end, tea tasting, that sort of stuff. And if you go to a tea house in China, they'll give you some snacks, usually savory stuff. You don't want too much processed sugar because it's going to blow out the tea sweetness. But and then there's also even things that are like a little unorthodox, but like I really enjoyed. Like when I went to the tea mountains in Yunnan in June, we went to Tianzhai, where all our the master tea series is from, Sister Ai's tea mountain. On that mountain, we met a group of tea farmers who are Lahu people. The Lahu is an ethnic group in Yunnan. There's about, I think there was like 600,000 of them. Lahu people. And the Lahu people farm bees, and they had fresh bee, like full honeycomb honey, and they would just take chopsticks, and they had this like these basically like hive of honey with the honeycomb and the wax still in there, and they would just take these chopsticks and just down just huge amounts of honey. They would suck out the honey and then spit out the little ball of wax. I actually have a video, if you go way back into the page to like mid-June, I'd say, early June, mid-June, you're gonna find a lot of videos of me. You'll find that video of me eating honey and having all the Lahu people food. The Lahu food was amazing. Cheers over here. Alex Avila says, I like the tea sets, but they're so small. I just want a big mug of tea. Is there any large tea sets? There's a couple options you have. One is, where are my cat cups? I'll find you the answer to your question. I have on the site. Here we are. Give me one of these guys. There we go. This is a cat cup. And these are mugs with a strainer in them, and you can take out the strainer, and then after you've taken out the strainer, you're just left with a mug of tea. This is not traditional at all, but I find it's a really good, it's just a good tea maker. It looks like a cat, which is even better, but it's actually just like a good tea maker. And so if you search Jesse's Teahouse cat cup, I have these in green, red, and black. So we'll put the kitty over here. The cat somewhere you can be seen. And the cat cups are great. I actually think, even though it's not traditional, something like that, where the most important thing you can do is have the water and the leaves separated. You want the tea leaves soaking when you want them soaking, and then you want them out and not soaking when you want them not soaking. And if your tea maker can do that, it's a good tea maker. Also, there are, I don't have any on the site yet, but I'm looking into getting teapots onto the site. If you like bigger portions of tea, buy a bigger teapot. And then you're doing less of this, the fiddly handwork. I personally like having the tea sessions be a little bit smaller because that allows me to kind of keep my hands busier. I have ADHD. I like having my hands and mouth busy. I sometimes find if I make a big mug of tea like this, I take like 2 sips, I leave it on a table somewhere, I forget about it, the next day I'm like, oh, I forgot I made tea. If I'm sitting down and focusing on using the tea to have a good afternoon and bring my, bring my focus onto making the tea, I find I enjoy it more. But everybody has different ways, and there's nothing wrong with having a big thing. Questions, what cha is a tea sailor site based out of the UK? I don't know what that is. Questions over here. Subterran says, I got a cat cup and love it. Thank you so much. They are really good tea makers. Like it looks a little bit like gimmicky, you know, compared next to all the traditional Chinese stuff, but it's actually like a good tea maker. There's no problem with it at all. Alex Dahl says, hi Jesse, English black tea will make me vomit on an empty stomach. I want to drink in the morning for caffeine. Do you have any tea? Your high-end teas will avoid this problem. Waiting to try your products, thank you. In general, I recommend people have food in their stomach when they drink tea. Vomiting is pretty intense, but it's not unheard of if you have very strong tea on an empty stomach. I'd recommend you eat something for breakfast, honestly, and then you have a lot of teas open to you. If you were not going to do that and you just insist on not doing that, the tea I would try would be this one. It's called Shou or cooked pu'er tea. If you see the tea oranges on my site, that's a Shou pu'er. The Bingdao Mellow tea brick, that's a Shou pu'er. I have a 2005 Lung pu'er that I think is actually sold out. I bought 1,000 bags of that and we sold them out. It's crazy. Those were part of the subscription though, so a bunch of them went out to the subscribers, but like, pretty nuts. And we had to pack those individually too because they came in the big discs, and we had to, the team in China broke them apart and put them into 50-gram bags. It was pretty crazy. So I'd say, yeah, show or cooked pu'er. Don't drink raw or shung pu'er. Raw pu'er is going to be the worst you could have for your stomach on an empty stomach. You need to have food in your stomach if you're going to drink raw pu'er. It's just too powerful. The show pu'er is dark, earthy, very cooling, and this is good for your digestion in general. If I were to drink tea on an empty stomach, this is what I would drink. This happens to be the tea that I'm drinking now. This Noni Xiang, so this is for those who are just joining, I had like a little tea coin that came in this gold foil, and it was a sticky rice flavored cooked pu'er. So the sticky rice flavor started as this really intense smell, and now it's kind of just worked its way into the tea. It's almost like if you have, it's just got a little bit of that, like, you know, starchy rice thing going to it. Almost like if you've had genmai cha, which is like the green tea and popped rice mixed together. It tastes like rice because there's literally rice in it. This is not as strong as that, which I actually like because I don't really like genmai cha. But it has a hint of that in there, and I think it's actually pretty well balanced. I'm on the fence. This is right there. I have to try my other samples to see if I have better than this, but this is pretty good. I wouldn't be upset putting this on the shop. The question is going to be how much it costs. How much does it cost? Well, that's reasonable. The cost is not a problem, but I feel like it's not. I know that there's a better one out there. I'm going to see if I can find it. Sometimes you can find it. Sometimes you spend years looking for it. So, you know, the perfect shouldn't be the enemy of the good. But question: is this TJ the small or the medium insert? I believe this is the medium. The small one's a little bit smaller. The small one's good if you're going to be having like 1 or 2 people, I'd say. If you want to have like 3 or 4 people, the medium is a better choice. I think it's the medium though. I need to go and check. I got a small and a medium sent to my house, and I just picked one out and started doing this session. So it's really good. But yeah, this metal insert tea tray table, the blue-white porcelain cups, these beautiful blue-white porcelain cup set. The tea pets, and obviously the tea table itself. Everything is on the website. If you guys go to jessieteahouse.com, I'm Jesse. That's how I support the channel. Is when you guys want really good tea stuff, you can go to the website. I have all the stock is in the United States in my warehouse in New Jersey, and we have a shipping team there that goes through, and every day they take the orders from yesterday and they ship them out. So the result is, like, you know, I can spend more of my time making tea, making videos, and we have people who are better than me at doing the shipping, which is important because I'm not a particularly organized person. And when I started the Tea House in the very early days, we were packing everything ourselves, and I would have my family and my synagogue and the Chinese program for my high school. I called everybody together. We packed boxes, hours and hours and hours of packing boxes, and eventually it was just like, my time is not being of the best service to you by me packing all these boxes and organizing like literally any bit of labor I can get my hands on here in the States. So cheers. Questions over here. Got my tea from Trisha's Curry. Got my Tea Master box yesterday. Haven't been able to try it yet though. Enjoy. Those are really good. They sold out. We sold out of the four Tea Master boxes. We are frantically trying to restock them. I actually had a call with Aitia, Sister Ai, this morning, America time, her night in China, and talking about the restock, because we're going to try to restock them before Christmas. It's going to be a little bit of a push to try to get it done before then. But I'm so happy that people like those teas, because that gives me the confidence to do it again. The Tea Master box, for those of you who don't know, was the result of me going to China this June, and I went to the tea mountains. I flew to Kunming in Yunnan province, and then they picked me up at the airport, drove me 7 hours into the mountains, and Sister Ai, who's our collaborator, the tea farmer that we're working with on the Tea Master series, they have amazing tea, and it is super high quality. The tea trees there are all in a protected national rainforest, So nobody can get in. Like literally, they had a guard blocking the road, the only road leading up into the mountain. And Sister I kind of had to finesse me in. They weren't supposed to have outsiders be coming in at all. Basically, only the tea farmers get to go up there. It's about as good and pure an environment as you can get anywhere in the world. And the tea trees there are wild and have been growing. They claim they have a tree that is 2,700 years old, which if it is true, is the oldest recorded tea tree. Unfortunately with trees, the only way to know 100% how old they are is to chop them down. Nobody's interested in doing that. But based off of the rate of growth of the tea tree, you can make guesses based off of the size of the trunk and the size of the branches and the way that the leaves sprout. So these ancient tree tea is really, really good. And also the reason the ancient tree is expensive is not just because it's from far away, not just because it's really tasty, but also because the tea plant, as the tree gets older, this is something I learned when I was there. I didn't know this before. As the tree gets older, it doesn't create as many new leaves every year. Like the tender shoots, the new leaves, which is what you make tea from, you don't want the old, hardened, leathery leaves that have been on the tree a long time. You want the new leaves that are budding during the spring. When they just start to bud, that's when you take the leaf and that's when you turn into the really high-end tea. They produce fewer of those shoots because the tree is more mature. It's not growing in the same way it is when it's younger. So the younger trees produce more tea, but the ancient trees have better tea. So very, very nice. And thank you again for Jean sending some hearts, sending some gifts. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. You get a tea pour on Clyde for that. Thank you so much. But again, thank you for the gifts. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel, though, please go to the website and pick up some tea. I'm always happy to get people set up. If you have questions, if you haven't asked them in the chat, I've been missing some of my questions. Let's get another one things. Lightning Lotus says, I love to drink tea in the traditional way. You should give it a try. Just made a peppermint tea, then this channel popped up. Perfect, yeah. If you guys have tea, make the teas. We can all hang out and have tea this fine Saturday. It's a beautiful Saturday in Los Angeles. Where is everybody? Put into the chat. Where are we watching from? Probably all over the world, unexpected. Questions over here. Where we got? All right, we're having laps in social right now. Perfect. Very, very cool. Tea from an ancient tree is such a fascinating concept. There are a few things humans farm that could be harvested for thousands of years from the same organism. Yeah, like I went to a tea farm that was founded in the 1300s when I was in Yunnan. So they have some farms that are 700 years old, not many. North Carolina, Moab, Utah, Seattle, California, yeah, Nashville, Tennessee. Nashville's great. Rain in the Boston area today. I'm from Newton originally, so I was just there this last week. We had good stuff. Here from Ireland, but from California, Orange County, great. Rhode Island, Colorado, Texas, tuning in from Colorado, Alaska. We got our Alaskan tea people. North Carolina, Colorado, Alabama. Freezing here, says user. I don't know where that was. 你在美国还是在中国啊？我在美国，我在洛杉矶。Billion Dollar asking where I am at right now. I'm actually in Los Angeles right now. Having the Master Box show this morning. How do you like it? We're drinking a show here. This is not as good as the Master Box show, but you know, it's way cheaper. This is a sample, but let me know how you like the Master Box show tea. I think the Master Box is a 2006. It's like really old. We got a good one. Indiana, Idaho, Ohio, all sorts around here. Cheers to everybody from Tea People, Ohio, Jacqueline Daniels, Patch. Zerbez says, I like your content, looking forward to getting some stuff from the shop. Thank you so much. If you ever need any recommendations, let me know. If you're looking to get started, the one I usually recommend people is the Gongfu Tea Kit. This is the one that's in all my videos. It's a full set. It's a little bit, I mean, this is one that I've used before, so it's a little bit dirty, but it's like the whole set inside the carrying case. Lidded cup, 6 cups, pitcher, set. It comes with a free tea pet. So that's like a really great basic set. These are $95 for the whole thing plus a free tea pet. So it's a good way to get started. If you have about $100, you can get going. If you have less than $100, we have some other options as well. Even as I said, the cat cup is a good tea maker. These are $35. So it's definitely always an option. Very, very cool. New subby, thanks so much. Anand Shukla Paref says, what tea do you find yourself returning to most often? That's a good question. I really love raw pu'er. I mean, like, I know it's almost like a cop-out answer for people in the tea world, but like, raw pu'er is the best. I know a lot of tea people that only drink raw pu'er because it just has so much diversity of flavor and tasting notes depending on where it was grown, how it was aged. All that sort of stuff has just like a huge impact on the flavor. And the mix of fragrance and high notes and medium notes and low notes and everything is just like very, very nice. I think but you know, I drink a lot of red tea, I drink a lot of white tea, I drink a lot of show pu'er as well. I find I drink less green tea, but then when the new green teas come out, I get on the green teas and really get into them and drink them throughout the summer. So I don't drink that much yellow tea, but there's not a lot of yellow tea out there, so very cool. Got a couple other questions. Feel free to ask some questions. Jocelyn Daniels is going to be moving to Vermont in November, and I plan on buying a tea set from the shop along with some tea. I want to have tea sets from around the world. I'm going to start with your stuff. That's a cool idea to have like a global tea set collection. Vermont would be a fantastic place to drink tea. Not just because it's going to be cold in the winter, but just like Vermont, open spaces, beautiful place. I'm from Massachusetts. We go to Vermont for vacation. I mean, the whole of Vermont has like 1 million people in it or something, and I live in LA. There's like over 15 million people in the city. You'll have a lot of space and good energy for yourself in Vermont. So I'd be honored to provide a tea set for your space. If you ever need any help picking anything out, let me know. Question over here, we've got somebody asking in Chinese. 现在中国凌晨3点了，我在看喝茶。喝茶我都想起床喝一点生普啊。你现在喝生普的话，你肯定是睡不着觉的啊。If you drink some raw pu'er at 3 in the morning, you are never going back to sleep again, maybe for years. Always glad, hey, we've got people tuning in from China. Boom. 欢迎我们的中国朋友来享受我们的茶文化。哎，这本来就是中国文化。哎，我告诉你。I do the whole stream in Chinese and everybody would leave. I did do some live streaming in China, but foreigners are not allowed to live stream in China. You need special permission. So, not playing that game. Not going to play a game I can't win. That is the way it goes. That is the way it goes. We're going to boil some more water. I think I'm going to have a second tea, try another sample. This was good. It's right on the edge for me. I'm going to give this a 7.5. Right on the edge. Not bad. Good, but there might be a better one out there. I'm taking my notes. I'm going to try another. I'm going to try another sample. Cheers, everybody. Get that washed out here. Get some of that out. There we go. I'm going to swap out. Here's a little trick. If you want to do multiple tea sessions in one day, rather than run into the sink or the trash can and disrupting the tea time, take one guy one, put it off to the side. Take another guy one and put it on the table. And now we're ready. It doesn't fit with the set. Doesn't matter to me. I don't care. I'd rather just have another thing of tea. And then most importantly, give everything a wash down. We don't want to be mixing up flavors. You have a new guy one onto the table. Give that a hot water bath. Keep boiling my water. Very nice. Use that hot water to clean off the whole thing. Yep. Great thing about the tea table is you do not need to be worried about spilling anything. And if you do spill, the sets all come with a towel. Let's see, other questions over here. User 517 said, what style of tea would you recommend for beginners of the style of tea? I recommend trying a bunch of different styles. So I haven't formally announced it yet, but I'll tell you guys on live stream. After 2 years of having our Gong Fu tea sampler box have 4 different teas, we're now doubling that to 8 different teas. So starting next week, we've actually been working on this for months. We have 8 different teas that are going to be in these samplers. They're going to have the original 4 teas from the samplers, the Chi Men Red Tea, the 8-year age tea oranges, 9-year age now, tea oranges, the Ancient Tree Raw Pu'er tea balls, and the Gongmei white tea balls. And in addition, we're also going to have 4 more teas, a Mandarin Peel Shomei white tea, a Longjing green tea, and a Liu Bao jasmine black tea. And those 8 tea samplers are really what I'll recommend if you're just getting into it and you want to hold off. Usually I'm like, go to the site, get stuff, but I really encourage you to try a bunch of different types of tea, and that's my way of making it easy for people to be able to get a bunch of different stuff. I think that if you can only pick one, I would go with red tea. What the Chinese call red tea is the same thing as the Westerners call black tea. So if you've seen black tea, Earl Grey, English breakfast, the tea base of that, the tea itself is a Chinese red tea. Even though it's called black tea here, it's called red tea there. So when they say red tea, they mean black tea. And that is going to be pretty familiar to you if you're a tea drinker. Unless you know, like for instance, you like green tea, in which case, try some green teas. Like the difference between the fresh spring green tea, like the stuff I have on the site, and the tea bag stuff is really big. It's really big difference. So that's the way to do it. Questions over here. Corvicus, if there's something in your site that would be recommended for people who have favorite tea is Vietnamese jasmine tea, floral aspects, not only liking green tea. Yeah. Next, in November 1st, part of the new subscription box, we're actually coming out with a Yangchuan snow jade jasmine tea. Snow jasmine tea. That's going to be really, really good if you're used to like more traditional floral jasmine. If you want to try something like that but different and a little bit funky, but I think you will like it if you like jasmine, we have a black jasmine on the site, which is jasmine flowers that have aromatized Liu Bao black tea. That stuff is really good, and that's actually one of the top sellers on the website. I think that like people who have had jasmine tea before really like it because one, the quality of the jasmine that we use is way above anything that you generally find in the Western market. A lot of the jasmine tea in the Western sort of tea space is created by spraying scented oil onto the tea leaves. The reason they do that is one, it's cheap and spray spray. 2, the fragrance when you're at the tea shop and you're like, what does this smell like? Oh, it smells amazing. You get that amazing fragrance because the oil is there. But then the problem is when you steep the tea, a lot of times the fragrance is like gone in the first steep, and you can't do the way that I'm doing this with repeatedly steeping. The way that we do our jasmine tea is the traditional jasmine way, in which they take the leaves, they lay them out, and then at night they go around and they lay jasmine flowers onto the leaves. And the reason they do it at night is because that's when the flowers put out their fragrance. And so they have a night, they aromatize the leaves with the fresh flowers. Then the next day they come, they sift all the flowers out, and they lay out in the tea again, and they aromatize them with a second batch of flowers, then a third batch of flowers, and then a fourth batch of flowers. So the jasmine tea on the site is aromatized 4 times with actual jasmine flowers done in the traditional way. And the result is that you still have that intense fragrance when you open the bag, but you also have the jasmine flavor that's seeped into the tea. So that when you start to drink it, instead of it just going away or being all up in the nose, it goes into the flavor of the tea, and you can like drink the jasmine, which is really cool. So I would say both of those are a good shot. The black jasmine is one I would recommend like now. I haven't had a lot of Vietnamese jasmine, but I'm guessing that it's probably similar to the Yangchuan snow jasmine that we're coming out with in November 1st. But gotta wait for that, and I highly advise people to join our subscription club, because we have a tea club. Every 3 months you get 3 boxes of tea. The box is $58 for a quarter, so it's like under $20 a month. But you get them all all at the same time. And we have that black jasmine as one of the teas in our subscription. You also save 10% if you subscribe. It's like $52 or something like that. So it's the best deal on the site, and we spend a ton of time working on it. Questions, very good. I did my session yesterday. It was very pleasant. It was from Pixels. Thanks so much. Matt Sanchez, I think. Matt Chez says, I love the tea, love the content. Thanks so much. Thank you so much. Questions over here. We have a couple other questions. User, honestly, does the temperature of the water matter that much? It can. The higher quality tea you have, the more that changing the temperature means that the tea has a different personality. It's hard to, like when you have really high quality tea, you can make it, say at 80 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Celsius, they'll taste different, but they're both gonna be good. The difference is if you have bad quality tea, the water's too hot, it's bitter. Over steep just a little, it's bitter. You know, you have one good cup of tea, well, it's over because you can't re-steep it. The requirement, it asks a lot more of the tea maker to be good at making tea if you're using cheap tea. And the irony is most of the people who are buying cheap tea are not like really careful about the water temperature and stuff like that. So the main things I would say is for your green teas, don't steep them too hot. That's the biggest mistake that people make when they're like, I don't like green tea, it's bitter. Well, you're pouring boiling water on it. That's not the right temperature for the green tea. Bring it down, you know, 160 to 180 Fahrenheit, you know, whatever, 70 to 80 Celsius, 85 maybe if you like really strong, but don't be boiling that at boiling temperature. Great questions. I'm gonna continue, I'm gonna make one more tea. Usually I stream for about an hour, we've had an hour, but I'm gonna do one more tea and stay on a little bit longer. I'm intrigued by these guys. Last time I gave you the choice. This time, oof, this is cool. Hold on. Let's see if I'm reading this right. These are from 1990? Oh, damn. Dude. You know, maybe I'm not going to make this now because I want to make a video on it. That looks great. Those look really good. I'm a little excited. That's above my normal budget for the subscription, but I've gone over the budget before, that's for sure. One of these, one of those. I'm gonna try the sequin. I'm gonna try the, not those, these guys. Raw pork coins. This is a solid choice. So we'll see how good this guy is. But man, take a look at that. That looks pretty, right? Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Here we go. Expected, we have Crypto said, really sad my tea master set won't make it. Hope my tea order still comes though. The tea set will come. If you're having trouble, we accidentally oversold, I think, 12 master boxes because we were unexpectedly granted a gift by the algorithm gods that YouTube has finally started showing my videos. And so we have people from YouTube that came on and actually bought out our master boxes. And so we had a couple hours where it was still on, but I was not aware that we were selling, and so we oversold, which I do apologize. But if you have a tea set you got with it, you email teafriendsupport@jessie'steahouse.com or private message me on TikTok or Instagram. I'll get you the right email, and we can separate the part of the order we do have in stock. We'll send that to you, and then I'll pay the difference in the shipping because it's not your fault. We'll make it happen. I really don't like being out of stock and messing that stuff up. Like, it's something I'm very proud of. It's like our shipping team is really good. If you make an order, it comes within 2 days. Like, we'll put it in the mail within 2 days, and then however many days you had for shipping. Like, the team is really, really good. And this is like my mistake for not checking the box that would put the out of stock thing on there. So I do apologize for that, but we'll make it right. I treat my tea people good. I mean, my goal is just to have everybody really happy with their tea time, so that's what I'm doing. Questions? What tea on your site has the lowest caffeine, from Caitlin Stevenson? It's hard to say because the truth is like everybody's body reacts to caffeine differently. I would avoid like the green teas and raw pu'er teas like this. I like the look of this tea coin though, right? Yeah. Very pretty tea coin. So I would avoid this stuff if you're caffeine sensitive. But also, a lot of the caffeine comes out in the opening steeps of the tea. So for any tea you have, if you have a high quality tea, like this thing is going to be able to make 10, 15, maybe even 20 steeps, depending on the quality. If you have that sort of thing, throw out the first 3 steeps. Make a steep, pour it out. Make a steep, pour it out. Make a steep, pour it out. You'll get rid of a fair bit of the caffeine. If you're just caffeine sensitive and not like completely allergic to caffeine, I think that should generally be enough for you to be able to enjoy the tea. Again, everybody's body is different though, so like I don't give medical advice. And it's tricky to tell how much caffeine is in tea. You see a lot of numbers bandied about on the internet. My understanding is it really does have to do with where the plant was grown and how it was processed. So like in general, certain types of teas might have more than other, but like unless you've literally tested that plant you're drinking, it's hard to really know. So I don't really go about doing too many banding about guesses on those. So let's look at what we're drinking. This is the Bingdao. It says Bingdao Qianbian with Bingdao money cake. This is very nice Bingdao Diqu. You didn't write what year it is. Is it not written on the thing? I told my tea people to make sure that it's written on here what year it is. Oh, it's on the back here. This is 2023, so it's new. It's spring tea from this year. It's got a little bit of a, they say it's got a little bit of like a rock sugar sweetness and very nice spring flavor. 入口会保持浓朗着春天的香气，细腻而果香。Yeah, so it's got a little bit of like a fruity fragrance to it. We'll give that a try, see how we like it. I like smelling. It's pretty intense. Yeah, the new raw pu'er can be pretty intense. The color is going to be pretty light. As pu'er ages, the color becomes darker. But now this is the first steep, so it's very light, but very clear, so that's good. That's the first thing I'm looking for from these. If this were muddy, that would be a bad sign in a raw pu'er, that's for sure. Cheers. Give a little bit more tea to Clyde. We're gonna open that up. Cheers, everybody. I'm sorry if I've been missing questions. We have a lot of questions I've missed. If I miss questions, please just do put them back. If you're new to the stream, I'm Jesse, I'm a tea guy. Lived in China 9 years. I know a lot of tea farmers and small tea shop owners in China. They send me samples, I drink the samples, I pick the ones I like and put them on my shop. And sometimes we even collaborate directly with the tea farmers and bring them over. It's very, very fun. Good thing. Questions over here. Have you ever tried marshmallow leaf tea? I have not. Didn't know you could do that. Questions. It's funny how many North Americans think green tea is caffeine free. It is not. There's some sort of like decaffeination process, which I have no idea how, like, if you have like decaf black tea, I have no idea what the hell they're doing to that tea to make it decaf, but it's not naturally like that. Marshmallow loosely tea, I love marshmallows. I guess it'd be the marshmallow flour. I think the marshmallow candy is made from the root, if I'm not mistaken. Jocelyn is my favorite person. I'm missing with, yeah, Jocelyn, there we go. Jocelyn's a favorite person of Blair Ashley. Now we know. So here's second steep. This is the first one that I'll start to drink. By the way, remember what that coin looked like? The coin is opening up now. Coin is opening up. Very cool. Cheers. And that tea color, that's actually pretty nice. That's what I would expect for like a 1 year aged raw pu'er. Color is nice. Actually, I should be taking notes. Bingdao Qianbing raw pu'er coin. 2023. This is a light clear tea color. I'm gonna try some of the flavor. Ooh. Other questions over here. Is there green tea in brick form? Usually not, and the reason is because bricks and tea cakes are meant to store tea while you age them. So if you're gonna keep lots of tea around, you could have boxes and boxes and boxes of loose leaf tea, but it's more efficient to press the tea into a cake and store it. Green tea is the opposite. Green tea, you lose fragrance over time as it oxidizes. So very rarely are you going to press it into a cake and store it because you want to drink it as quickly as possible. Every year they come out with the new spring green teas, and everybody jumps to try to get the first of the spring green teas. Nobody is drinking aged green tea if they can avoid it. Most of the green tea aging is unintentional, and it's in somebody's tea collection, and then all of a sudden they look at it and like, oh, I didn't finish that green tea from 5 years ago. Whoops. She was there. Very nice. That's smoother than I expected for Young tea. It does have there's a good way to describe it, like rock candy sweetness. Rock sugar. Yeah. It does. Very sweet. I'm going to try some more of this. Show you guys the tea color here. Check that out. Very nice. So nice. There's over here. 5 years, does it not rot? No, it doesn't rot. That's the part of the tea making process. Is there's a step in making tea where you dry the tea, and then once they're dried, you lay them down on a flat like a bamboo sheet or whatever, and you sun dry them. And then once they're dry, the moisture is gone. So they're not going to rot unless you get them wet. They're not going to get moldy unless you get them wet. And what they will continue to do is oxidize because they have oxygen coming in from the outside. Now, green teas are not processed in a way that makes them like oxidization. Green teas do not like oxidization. You want to keep your green teas airtight. You want to keep your green teas in the dark. For the pu'er tea cakes, pu'er does like oxidization. The oxidation for pu'er is just going to make the flavor deeper and richer. And so that's the difference between, say, this 2023 pu'er. And, I've had we have some from Sister I, special rare teas that are 23-year age from the same trees that the master box is from. 23-year age, 1,000-year tree tea. Amazing, really, really good stuff. Very expensive. In fact, I only have any because on the night when I left the Tea Mountain, Sister I asked which of the teas that I had had on the trip I liked most. Of course, I liked the oldest, best tea that she had, and so she gave me a small red bag of it. I'll show you here. This is our 23-year aged tea from that Tea Mountain. 23 years aged. See if you can look inside the thing there. Very dry, light, very highly aged tea leaves. Very good stuff. I've actually not had any of this since I came back to the States. I'm saving it. I think I might do an in-person tea tasting in LA. So that would be that might be one of the rare teas that I give people at the tea tasting. I think it could be fun. So very, very cool. Hey Jesse, we have a question over here from Unseptum. Hey Jesse, I'm a Kung Fu Cha enthusiast just like yourself. Excellent. Though much less tea experience. I heard you can use aroma/sniff cups to help with smelling the tea, but I never seen you use one. Why? That's a good question. So there's a special type of tea making equipment that are called aroma cups. They're these like tall little cups, and they sit inside a little bowl. So you have a little teacup and then a tall cup inside of it, and then that allows you to basically pour the tea. You put the aroma cup on, and that allows the aroma to kind of circulate very intensely inside that little bowl. You pick it out, and you can smell it. Those are popular in Taiwan. I have those every time I go to Taiwan. Somebody's using those to make tea, and it's totally something I should feature on the shop. I haven't used them that often myself, but that's more of just an accident of history that I wound up living more in the mainland than less in Taiwan. But they are used throughout different Gong Fu tea experiences. I don't think they were invented in Taiwan. I'm pretty sure it's a previous form of Gong Fu tea that happens to be popular in Taiwan. Yeah, it's definitely a good way of making tea, especially if you have, like they do in Taiwan, very fragrant, aromatic oolong teas. Stuff like that is really good. If you're drinking something that's more flavor and less fragrance, like let's say you're drinking a Shomei white tea, a lot of leaves, not a lot of buds, you're not having tons of fragrance, I wouldn't use the fragrance cup for that. Green teas, oolong teas, maybe even raw pu'er. Those would be good fits for the aroma cup. The coin is unfurling nicely, which is important because if the coin doesn't unfurl, then it's hard to get the tea open. Trying another steep here. So another thing I look for, especially for raw pu'er, is how sensitive is it to being oversteeped? Because some raw pu'ers, you oversteep them even by a couple of seconds and they get very bitter. And that's not a problem if you know how to make that tea. It is a problem if you're like selling tea to new people and people are going to be like overwhelmed by the flavor if they mess up the steep time. Let's try this one. Not bad. Yeah, what is that fruit? It's got some fruit flavor to it. I'm trying to. It does have a little bit of like an apricot in there. We have a tea on the website now. It's the Bent Bow full tea cake. $48 for a full tea cake. So basically like $1 a tea session. Very good deal for that quality of tea. That one has this very nice fruity apricot-y flavor to it. A little bit like this. Look at the leaves now that they're coming out. Very nice. There's also a use for your tongs. Mix up the leaves a little bit. Try to open it up. Give you guys a look. They're still unfurling, but the leaves look really nice. You're seeing like whole leaves in there. Not too many stems. It'll occasionally have stems or small parts of stems, but there's not really that many in there. It's mostly leaves. They look mostly very good. What's the word in English? Genuine, not average, consistent. When you are looking for higher quality tea, the people who really care about the tea, when you go to lay the tea out to dry it out, you want to put them in a single layer so that they all dry as quickly and as evenly as possible. If you dump them in a pile, the stuff at the top will dry and the stuff at the bottom is still going to be wet. They're going to dry unevenly. That creates spots on the tea leaf, and it is an indicator that you can use when you're looking at the tea to see whether or not the tea quality is as high as people are saying it is. They look like they're pretty well done actually. Very, very cool. Merxia says, you know so much about tea, I feel like just listening to you talking, Well, I'm a teacher, but I'm trying to teach people about tea. I love getting, more tea knowledge out there. It's really, the more people know about tea, the more I feel confident that they will come around to drinking tea in this style. I don't need everybody in America to be, having a whole Chinese tea table, blah, blah, blah. Again, use the cat cup if you like. The cat cup's great. The cat cup has a filter in here, and you can take it out and then you drink your cup of tea. You don't need to be drinking tiny, tiny steeps, although I prefer it. But this does what you need to do, which is, it says you're giving half a shit about making your tea good. And if you do that, the moment that people care about trying to get good tea and having that be a part of their life, I think the more people are going to get the benefits that I've had from it, which is it really does change the way you live. I mean, not in a bad way. I kind of built my lifestyle around tea now, making sure that I have time to be able to sit down and have 15, 20 minutes for tea. Making sure that I have friends over where I stay social and invite friends over for tea and just talk. All this has really helped my life. And so the knowledge about the tea itself is a part of that, which is kind of cool for me as the guy that lived in China and is very interested in other cultures. And I'm hoping, and so far we've been seeing great results on the internet that other people are interested too. And I think this is definitely, I mean, tea is the most popular drink in the world, and somehow in the West it's still not that big in many places. And so it's fun to be able to take a look at that. So here we go, continuing on. It's getting a little cloudy. That's not what I would normally want. It's getting a little cloudy, you see there. I like clear tea. The clarity in the first couple steeps was better. We're gonna try the flavor and see what it tastes like, because obviously if it looks a little cloudy but it tastes great, that's one thing. I liked it more in the beginning. I think it's getting a little bit too much now. The stringency is not overwhelming for me, but it would be overwhelming for some people, and I don't think this one is balanced as nice as I would like. The first steeps nice and sweet. As it advances, gets cloudier and a bit more astringent at even short steep times. So I'm gonna keep drinking this, but this is why we do all the testing. Like, this is probably not the tea that I'm gonna feature in one of my subscription boxes. Didn't like this one. I mean, the flavor I actually liked it in the early stage, which is normally the opposite of how it works. Normally, once you get into like steeps 3 through 7, that's like the heart of the tea. I actually like this one better, steep 2, which is kind of funny. You could, actually, you know, it's getting a little better. It still has that rock sugar sweetness to it, which I like a lot, but it's almost like hiding underneath the main punch of the tea, which is a little bit blunt. And I drink a lot of raw pu'er, so I'm kind of like, you know, I'm kind of there's no one right type of tea flavor in raw pu'er, but you know, I use my taste as a way to help you guys. So there's definitely possibilities that like a tea I don't like, you guys might like. But in general, I'm thinking if I don't like it, you know, probably not going on the shot. There we go. Caesar just found your channel today. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming. Rachel S says, I love tea and you're teaching me so much I never knew. Thanks so much. Just found your channel. I'm so happy I did. I can't wait to have some proper tea. Thanks so much. And again, if anybody's looking for tea, jessie'steahouse.com is my website. I'm Jesse. I know all the tea farmers and small tea shop owners directly. They send me over samples in the mail. I pick out the ones that I like best, including the samples of tea equipment and amazing tea stuff. The tea table that I'm using on the site right now, that I'm using in the video right now, the tea tray. All this stuff is on the site, and that's the best way to support the thing. Obviously, if you send me gifts on the online live streaming, love it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But I like to be able to support the channel by getting people really good tea. And we have a warehouse in New Jersey, so everything ships from the US. If you make an order, it'll be in the mail in 2 days. It's Saturday, so they don't work Saturday, but we'll ship Sunday or by the latest Monday. And we have a very small team. It's me. We have a support person named Angel who lives in New Jersey. She's great. We have one employee in China. His name is Claire. She's helps with the logistics of coordinating with the tea farmers, and also is our designer and makes some beautiful designs for the packaging. And then there's one mysterious person who is I can't tell their name because they work at another company and they're kind of moonlighting for us when they maybe shouldn't be. So I've been told to keep their identity a secret, but that person also helps out with our emails, making sure that, like, you know, if we have a sale, you guys know about it, that sort of stuff. But that's it. It's 4 people, so it's really it's a small operation, but it doesn't need to be much bigger because, you know, if you're doing tea well, you find good teas. We get the good tea from the farmers or from small shops in China. They send it to us. We send it to you. It doesn't need to be much more complicated than that. And in fact, if it is much more complicated than that, it's almost a little bit like, you know, what's going on? Because I'm looking at it, I don't know what else you would do. Very, very cool. Excellent. A question over here. Nathan Cooper says, I just bought your Bluestone tea table, the blue white tea set. Sister I's best the tea set and the white tea. I'm in love with everything. That's like the best setup we have on the site. That's like the best table and the best tea. The calligraphy, what does the inscription on Bluestone say? The ones that we have right now, the inscriptions, I believe it says, it's like above the clouds, sort of like a rising mentality. It's like it's a phrase it literally means like above the clouds, but it kind of more means in a meditative sense, like sort of ascension. So the idea is when you're drinking the tea, you're enjoying your time, you're talking with your friends, and you are above the clouds. That's kind of the idea behind it. In the future, we're looking into maybe even getting our logo stamped on the Bluestone tables, but we need a little bit more time to get that done. But the Bluestone table, hopefully you really enjoy it. You have a killer setup now. I mean, that's like going to be up on par with like the, there's not a lot of tea people in the States that are going to be able to have that nice of a setup. So I'm really glad you're enjoying it. And, if you enjoy it, coming into gift season, when you think of friends and family and stuff like that, you don't necessarily need to go whole hog and get them the Bluestone table, but if you have friends in your life you think would actually benefit from having tea as be part of their hobby, get them a bag of tea, get them a tea set or something like that. Because the quality we have is very, very high for the price. Basically, we're the only, with that Bluestone table, big 5 kilogram full stone tea table. We're really blowing up the game on that, because those things online, on like, if you go on like an Amazon or whatever, it's gonna be $350, because all the Chinese tea table people, they all airship them one at a time because they don't have a warehouse in the States. I put them on a boat and it took 40 days to get here, but now they're here, it's in stock. And so now that I have them here on the boat, the domestic shipping is like 15 to 30 bucks depending on where you live, but like, that's way better than 300. And the table is 168, I think. So especially if you're comboing it with the tea sets, they give you discounts, you ship them together. I really am pretty sure I'm the only person in the entire United States that's putting big stone tea tables on a boat and shipping them over here and saving that money on the shipping. So I'm glad you're enjoying it, because you can have a $20 little tea set and have great tea, or you can have a couple $100 table. There's no one right way to do it, but previously, if you wanted to have that nice stone table in the West, it was basically impossible. You really need to like bring one back in your luggage from a trip to Asia, and that's not really practical. So I'm glad to be able to open that up to people and make it easy, because it isn't, in China, it's not that hard. In China, you go to the tea market, or sometimes you can even get them online, and they'll send it to you. But because of the international shipping and the difference of the cost in air shipping for big, heavy objects, I wouldn't buy any tea table that was air shipped from China, because, or anywhere for that matter, because they're fragile, they can break. We have a lot of padding around ours, which makes the size bigger, which increases the shipping cost a little bit, but we're on a boat, so we can do that. If you did that amount of padding for a tea set that was coming by air, you'd pay like an extra 50% just for the padding. So people might be incentivized to make them cheaply, and it'd break. It's a nightmare. I wouldn't do it. So I'm glad to be able to help out. Nathan Cooper, thank you so much for the time to answer my question. I'll definitely be buying the tea exclusively from you. Thanks so much. Give it a try to different places, but I do work really hard to get good tea. So my goal is you should never go wrong with anything on the site. As you know, forget this bag of tea. I have, what might be 50, 60 samples. I have this giant box of tea that's entirely tea samples. I'm going to be trying through maybe 30, 40, 50 teas or something like that to select the teas for my subscription club. So I put a lot of effort into making sure that everything on there is like good. Obviously people have personal preference. You might like one and not the other, blah, 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 but nothing's going to slip through. Like, for instance, like this tea is good. If you went to the States and you got this tea at any tea shop, you'd be happy with it. But I know I have better waiting for me, so this is not going in the shop. But it was worth trying. You gotta give it a try. Questions over here. Leo says, got a good friend in your tea. He's hooked and blames me for his new favorite hat. Hey, we're tea people making tea people. We grow. get out like that. Tea is really a life-changing thing. I mean, like, tea has changed my life. Like, I'm sitting over here and, you know, live streaming with people from all over the world. We have people from Alaska and from, you know, Alabama and from Europe and Australia. Everybody's sitting and having tea. Like, this is why I think, like, you know, we need more of this. We need more of this stuff, especially for someone like me that is in U.S.-China stuff. You know, in 2012 when I moved to China, there was a much better relationship between the U.S. and China. Now everything is falling apart. And it's like, I'm not the only one, but like, I don't want to live in a world where we're fighting all the time. I don't have the power to change things within China or really within the United States. But what I can do is I can say, like, here's a better way to live. You guys go and fight and have your trade wars and, you know, fucking like military brinksmanship. Like, just know that you're not helping the world get better by doing this. Show me the evidence it's helping. I'm totally open to seeing the evidence. I don't see the evidence. I think that the more that I've been able to share comedy with people, tea with people, you know, a bad day of sitting and drinking tea is better than a good day of fighting. That's just kind of my way out of it. This is not to say we want to turn a blind eye to the problems. It is to say that while dealing with the problems, there needs to be a recognition of people and culture being separate from their governments. And that means that we'll be able to enjoy and respect each other's culture and company at the same time as the governments are doing whatever the hell they're doing. Because, like, I'm not part of that. So, very, very cool. Homie talking politics and just wants to know if the tea making him shit more. Yeah, tea doesn't make me poop. I don't know. Does tea do that to people? Coffee does that to people. Casey says I definitely have shoddy equipment, expensive tea. Hey, everybody has their own way of allocating their funds. Some people like the better tea and they don't care what they make it in. Other people really love the tea equipment. It's basically display art and maybe don't even agree with it. Nathan Cooper says, watching your videos and hearing your journey has me wanting to visit China and learn more of the culture. Thanks for your videos. Thanks so much. I mean, I'm a big fan of getting to go and travel, and then, like, I would trust, there's a lot of people who have these wacko opinions on China. Go there for a week. You'll see a lot of stuff. It's not all good, it's not all bad. It's a place like any other place, but it's a fascinating place. And the people and the culture there have very deep roots. You know, I was fortunate enough to live in Beijing for 9 years. I lived on Guozijian Hutong, Guozijian Street, where the Confucius Temple is. That's where the imperial examinations were to pick the Mandarin court officials. You know, the officials of this incredibly old dynastic system were picked on the street I grew up on, and that street was laid down by Kublai Khan. Like, it's amazing history. Coming from the United States, I like America, I like its history. The history is not that long. The indigenous history of a lot of this culture has been lost. And the European history is not that long, the colonial history. So it's, you know, I found it fascinating to live in a place like that. You should go, I'm looking into maybe doing tours in the future, maybe next spring, bringing a group of people over to China, going to the tea hills, and doing like a tea tour. It'd be a little bit difficult because obviously flights are expensive. But Adam Hirschberg, I lived in China in 2007, 2011, 2013. I miss all the great tea culture there. We'll definitely check you out. Any recommendations for tea shops in Taipei? And Taipei, there's so much good tea in Taipei. Taiwan has a lot of good tea. Can't tell you my guide, because then it's a little bit too publicly revealed. But I will say, if you look around for tea, you're going to find a lot of tea in Taipei. I'll instead tell you types of teas you should look out for to try. Oh, go to Jiufen. I'm sorry. Jiufen is the place to go. Because first of all, they have a ton of tea shops there. The Jiufen is a village on a hill. It's actually fun thing. Go to Jiufen, take the funicular. They have like a what do they call it? Funicular. It's part of the subway system, the transit system. You can like swipe your subway card and go up in the funicular all the way up to the top of the mountain at Jiufen, Jiufen. If you were in China, you know the opinion. And then that village at the top of that hill was the inspiration for the village from Spirited Away. So the architecture is beautiful. You have a view over the whole valley and city of Taipei, and they have many great tea shops. You'll pay more for your tea there than if you went to just like a tea shop normal, but it's definitely worth it. Teahouse is a great place. When I go to Taiwan, we're going to shoot a video there. For sure. Take one or two more questions, and then it's probably about time. I usually go about an hour. I'm going for an hour and a half. So, questions. Is there a tea that you would recommend for somebody who's new to this type of tea from Zenom? And also that random guy, basically the same question. I'd recommend trying a bunch of different types of teas to see what you like. If you want to be safe, if you like black tea, in the West, what they call black tea, the Chinese call red tea. So try Chinese red tea. I have a couple of them on my site. I have the red jade red tea that was in the video I posted today. I have a Chimen red tea, which is the base that is used for many types of Western tea blends, like Earl Grey tea or English breakfast. That's the Chimen red tea is the base usually. I have a very strong, punchy, good ancient tree Guangdong red tea. Very good. It's good. Inflation in reverse. How much of the price of the tea is marketing, such as Laobanjiang, Pu'er, costing so much? That is a really good question over here for TikTok. It is very hard to say because a couple reasons. A lot of stuff goes into the price that like you pay for tea, especially as a consumer here in the West. One of the prices is the cost of leaves. How much do leaves cost? Well, some of the ancient tree tea being more expensive is legit because it takes more labor to pick those trees. I have some videos I should post where we had a friend on this last trip back with a drone. So they got drone footage of all these ancient tea tree groves. And you'll see that they actually have like, they build scaffolding around the tree because the trees are so high, they need to build custom scaffolding to each tree so the farmers can get up essentially to the second floor and pick the leaves by hand. That's expensive. That's hard to do, custom for every tree. It's a nightmare. The trees also have fewer leaves, so it's more expensive. The price of the leaf is high. Now, Laobanjiang tea can sometimes be 10 times, 20 times more expensive than another ancient tree tea. Is it 10 or 20 times better? I wouldn't say that much better, but if you have the money and you want the best tea, like I went to Laobanjiang on this last trip back there. Laobanjiang is a 5-hour mountain ride through windy roads. Like you literally think you're gonna die every time you take a turn because it's all blind turns on these bad roads. The village of Laobanjiang, I found out, didn't get electricity until 1992. It's way out there. That's why tea is so good. There are reasons why it's expensive, and if you really want the best, you know, getting real Laobanjiang tea is hard to do. Getting Laobanjiang area tea, which is a lot of the tea that's sold as Laobanjiang area, that's a little bit cheaper, but like there are costs involved in that. Also, the Chinese tea market influences our tea market. I think Westerners are used to saying, well, if we want something, we control the market and everybody else has to play by our prices. It's kind of the opposite there. Whereas like the Western tea market is so undeveloped compared to China that if Chinese people are bidding something up, Westerners just can't get it. Or they have to have a very specialized person like me to come and get it for them, which increases the price because I'm not a major conglomerate. I don't have the bargaining power that some other places would. And then the last thing is marketing, but I would also add to that like education. So it's one thing to market a cell phone if people know what a cell phone is. It's another to market like a cell phone if you're the first cell phone or nobody knows what it is. You have to spend a lot more time educating people. And it's like, I like doing this, so it's a good fit for me because it's like, I enjoy doing this. This is not work for me. I'm hanging out on Saturday, enjoying tea. If you are interested in buying tea, justinteahouse.com. It's on my website. I'd love to be able to get you some tea. But I'd be hanging out and doing this anyway. But like, if you were like a business person and you're like, hey, you're gonna have to live stream and make tons of videos just to have a shot of people buying your tea. And meanwhile, they could just go to Amazon and Google it and buy cheaper tea that's gonna be worse, but they don't know. They're just trying to save a couple dollars. Like, this is not a business that like attracts a ton of investment. It's not a business that is like crazy, like it doesn't work well with like corporatism. And then the worst part for corporate tea people is that the tea tree doesn't lend itself well to monoculture. If you want ancient tea trees that are hundreds of years old, you can't plant them. You have to plant them now and wait hundreds of years. No one's doing that. So there's a lot about it that makes it niche in a way that the economies of scale don't come up. And how each tea person in the States, like how I decide like, oh, how much of the tea is going to be paying for all the times I did those videos, and it's really hard to say. So what I do personally is I try to get the tea as cheap as possible, and I do that by trying to get as close to the tea mountain as possible. I want to be talking to the tea farmer. If I get that, then I know like, well, whatever they're charging, I have the sample, I drink it, do I think it's worth it? And then I repackage it, or package it initially, because a lot of it's just in piles. Like it's not in a bag to repackage. We make our packaging. We try to save as much money as we can by doing everything as efficiently as possible. It's hard for a small business. Like, you know, our big problem is minimums. The printers in China, the printers in America want these big minimums. And everybody expects like kind of Amazon style next day delivery service, which is expensive. We pay a lot of money to our shipping team to have it done right. But I'd rather have it done right than like have people wait 6 weeks for their package. It doesn't make sense. So that all costs money. And at the end of the day, like you need to be able to make a living, and you need to, you know, America's expensive. I have to buy my own health care. I have a team in China, I have to buy their health care. There's like a lot of stuff that needs to be bought that is not the cost of the tea. So it's surprisingly difficult to figure out what you should be charging for the tea. And I think a lot of people just have this idea that like, oh, the tea farmer should make more. Well, I'm always in support of the tea farmers making more, but if the farmers make more, then everything gets more expensive at every step of the line. It's not so simple as to say who's getting more or less than what they deserve. So we always are looking for a way that we can be able to pay our farmers more than what they would normally be paid. Same with getting the stuff over here for less than it would normally cost. And wherever I can find ways of saving money, I try to do it. Like for instance, we ship a lot of our stuff by boat. Almost nobody does that in tea because tea is light, and so you can kind of get away with shipping it by air. But if you know ahead of time you're going to need the stuff, put it on the slow boat. And so a lot of times when we have a new item come out, if let's say I'm buying 300 tea pets, I'll put 100 of them on the fast boat and 200 of them on the slow boat. Because we're not going to sell through 100 tea pets the moment we get them. So if I save money that way, that brings down the cost of the whole thing, that saves you guys money. We try all sorts of stuff like that to save you guys money. So, and then the result of that is that when I go on the site and I'm like, this is what the tea costs, I feel very confident that it's a good deal. And it still may be out of some people's reach. I'm not saying that, you know, everybody can just drop the money on it. So we try to have different prices, and we try to do things like, for instance, we sell full cakes of tea. We have the Bing Dao Mellow and the Bent Bow Shung tea. Those are $48 each for 50 sessions of tea. It's $1 a session. It's not that much money, but the reason it's cheap is you have to buy a whole cake at once, and that allows me to save money on all the packaging and the labor and all that sort of stuff. So sometimes teas like Laobanjiang can be overinflated in their price because because Chinese people are bidding them up. I tend to avoid those teas if I can, because most Americans are not going to care that much about the where the tea is from. Like I would rather get people a tea that was 5 times cheaper from right next to Laobanjiang that will be very, very similar than to pay the Laobanjiang price and get the really, really expensive stuff, unless I can find the really good stuff at a reasonable price. But like, these are all choices that I make as a tea guy to try to put together the best tea shop I can for you guys. And the hope is that when you go to the site, it's going to be hard to tell a lot of that work, but when you drink the tea, you'll say that was good. That was worth what I paid for it. And if people are saying that, then I've done my job well. So that was a very long, complicated answer to that question. It's probably going longer, but hopefully that was fun. So Very, very good. Amazon, yeah, so you can't confirm Amazon $20 pu'er cake is nasty. Don't buy tea on Amazon. Do not. I know it's not even the tea farmers. It's the unscrupulous middlemen that are like, oh, I can get this tea cake for $2 and I can sell it on Amazon for 20. And I'm just gonna put it up there, and they don't give a shit. They don't know any of their customers. They don't, I'm not ragging on people in China trying to make a living on selling abroad. I think it's a good thing. I think global trade is a good thing for us. But you need to care about the customer. People don't care about the customers. It's like, get it as cheap as possible, sell it as much as possible. No customer service. It might have been mishandled. It might, again, it's shipped by air, one at a time. The price of the shipping is baked into the thing. So you're buying a $20 tea cake. You might be buying a $6 tea cake and $14 of shipping. It's nuts. It's just, don't do it. Do it, it's a gamble. I can't guarantee it's all gonna be crap because I haven't tried it. Until you drink the tea, you don't know. Maybe you'll really find something great. Maybe somebody has really great tea and they're just trying to get their stuff out there, but it's not likely. Same with the tea equipment. You know, we have replacements. If you buy one of our blue-white tea sets and you drop the lid, we have another lid. We'll give you another lid. It's like, we have the lidded cup and the lidded cup set here with the tray, the lid, and the cup. We have replacements for $15 if you break them. It's not on the website. Just email us. We get lots of emails. I broke the lid. I broke my pitcher. We'll replace it for $15, including shipping. We don't make any money on that. That's because I want to take care of my tea people. I want to make it easy for you guys to have good tea. No one on Amazon is doing that. No one on Amazon has their stuff ready for, like, 2-day shipping in the States. It's all drop shippers. So, and certainly no one's like trying 50 different types of tea to pick the best one. So I got riled up about Amazon shit. You may notice my my stuff is not on Amazon. Teahouse.com. I'm very much not on Amazon. Inflation reverse. P.S. I can't seem to appreciate pu'er. Is it like drinking beer where you learn to like it? Some of it can be an acquired taste. Not everybody that drinks pu'er, whether the raw or the cooked pu'er, is instantly on it. I think getting good quality is part of the thing, and making it well. I'd say pu'er, one of the other reasons tea people like it is that there's a good return to being a good tea maker if you're making pu'er. Like, for instance, like this tea that I'm making now, I'm making it pretty well. I like it. If I'm trying to make it and I'm still kind of on the fence about it, I know that somebody who's less good at making the tea will overbrew this and it'll be too bitter. And so that's one of the reasons it's not going to be on my shop. But as a tea maker, it's kind of fun to be able to, like, adjust the character of the tea. And you have a lot of room to make tea at different characters, at different steep levels, of different styles in pu'er. Whereas with some other teas, really all you can do is just have good quality tea, and then you make it. So that's the way to do it. Questions? Are you Uncle Iro? No, but I get that a lot, so I like it. I like the comparison. I should be playing some Guzhou music, but I'm actually about to go, so we're gonna do this one last. I think that's gonna be all for today. I'm pretty teed out. I have a show at 4, and I just talked for 2 hours and probably blown out my voice. So, but it's been great to see everybody. Thank you again for joining. Thank you to all the followers on TikTok. Thank you very much to all our followers on YouTube. The last week, we just suddenly started getting YouTube traffic. I've been trying for like 2 years to get people to watch on YouTube with no luck. Now finally people are watching. I'm super happy. We've had a bunch of new customers come in. Again, Jesse'sTeahouse.com. If you go to, I'm Jesse. Tea direct from the tea farmers and small tea shops in China to you. Very simple. Find the good stuff. Get it to you. Look into that. We have a tea subscription club. Every 3 months you get a new box. If you buy the box this month, you'll get a box, and then the next box comes on November 1st. So if you're interested in that, I would get it sooner rather than later, because everybody's going to get the next box on November 1st, no matter when you got your last box. So in order to avoid people drowning in tea, get on the club earlier. You'll have more time to drink through those teas. So you get the next one. And yeah, just very excited to be able to share everything. I'm so happy that people have been watching now on YouTube and continue to watch on TikTok. So thank you all so much. Have a good afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'm going to go try to get outside. It's a beautiful day here in LA. And it's good to see you guys. See you around soon. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Get this end now. Bye-bye. Have a good one, guys. Thank you for your time. Bye-bye.